Are live. That's right. This is the Thursday night special. And of course, I have a very special guest, a current Hall of Famer in the WWE, a 14-time World Tag Team Champion with his brother, Stevie Ray. How you doing?
What's going on, bro? Everything's cool.
Yeah, so we're just going to talk about your career and what you've been doing since WCW went away. Sound good?
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's do it. Let's do
All
it.
right. So here's the big question I've always wanted to know.
What's that?
Why did you not go to the WWE with your brother?
I've explained that 50,000 times on 50,000 podcasts, man. I didn't want to go through how WWE actually does a lot of stereotypical bullshit with African American characters, and I was too far in my career to do that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
that's why I didn't go.
I just never knew. Because I was kind of hoping that you would have came over with the
Oh,
invasion.
oh, a lot of people did, but that's why I didn't go.
Yeah.
So I
Um.
never had any interest to go to. Not then, anyway, when they had people at their mercy, and they were cutting people contracts, and they signed a lot of WWE guys, and I told a lot of guys that didn't know the business. A lot of guys didn't know they in the business, but they don't know the business like I do. They don't study the business, and I tried to, just from my assessment of WWE, they're gonna do nothing but use these guys, to make their guys look good,
Yeah.
and that's what they did, and nobody believed me. Nobody
Yeah.
believed me, and did the same thing with the ECW guys. You know what I'm saying? A few of them got through, but basically did the same thing with the ECW guys. And I used to try to inform people about the business of professional wrestling. Professional wrestling is business, but everybody still looked at it like it was some glorified, reality show. And I'm like, at the end of the day, Vince is about business.
Yeah.
Period. Business. Now, if I got $1 zillion invested in Lamar Jackson, okay, then what the hell I'm gonna do with the backup guy? My money
Right.
is invested in him.
Right.
You know. Now, if you think I'm gonna bring the backup guy and give him $200 million guaranteed, then what the hell I need him for? It don't work like that.
Yeah.
You take care of your investments, and his
Yeah.
investments for years was the guys that had been there, pretty much chopping it up for him. So I knew that. I knew that. And now you got all the WCW guys clamoring for a job. You know, well, if you're clamoring for a job, you're gonna take what I give you. If you're making 400,000 over here, I'm not gonna give you that. Will you work for 100? Well, what are you gonna say? Well, what negotiation power do you have now? It ain't like you Lamar Jackson and say, well, I'm gonna go out here and test the market. If you don't want to give me 220 million guaranteed, I'll go see who else can give it to me. Well, you don't have that leverage anymore. Okay, I'm aware enough to know that because this is business to me. It ain't professional wrestling. It's never been about fun time.
Yeah.
Not when you get to the big time. It's real time. And every single solitary person that he brought over, what did they do? He used them for what he could. Then he squeezed them out like an old rag and threw them out and let them dry.
Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, except for
So
you. I mean,
so when
except for
people ask
you.
me that, you think I want to go through that?
No, I
I
don't blame
already can see the writing on the wall. From a fan's perspective, I see exactly where you're coming from. But I'm not finna come over here and you gonna put a horn in my hand or put some hip hop music behind me and do some stereotypical African American, shaba shimba or these kind of different things that they've done with people. Nothing against those guys, but I'm just talking about the images.
you. Yeah.
Okay, I don't
Yeah.
need that in my life.
Yeah,
Okay,
it didn't.
I
Yeah,
don't need it.
it didn't look good for the WCW guys during the
You know what I'm
invasion.
saying? No, and the thing is, I'm like, everybody thought that these guys are gonna go over there and and you can only have so many people on the payroll. Get what
Yeah.
you can get out of them and move on to the deal. So that's what happened, brother. If
So
that makes
I
sense.
in my So in my research for this interview, you started wrestling in Texas. Was it? Did you start wrestling in the Sportatorium or was it somewhere else?
Oh no, I didn't get to the Sportatorium till 90. I started wrestling back in 89. I didn't get to the Sportatorium till 91 or 92, somewhere in there.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. So can you like give us the environment of the Sportatorium for what you can remember? Because I'm a huge fan of Texas wrestling. I've been getting into it a lot more.
Sportatorium was old school, deep South wrestling, man. That's what the Sportatorium was, man. But it had that lineage of the Von Erichs. It had that lineage of so many different greats that had came in and out of there. Old building, you know what I'm saying? Not the best conditions, but with all that being said, man, it was still one of the best places I ever had the pleasure of performing.
I bet
Sportatorium.
I bet the crowds were riotous, wasn't they?
The crowds were great. The crowds were great. We had a good time in Sportatorium, man. I got better I can remember more stuff I did in the Sportatorium than I did anywhere else. Is that crazy?
A little bit,
Yeah.
just a little bit. I mean, because with Peacock and stuff, everyone can relive your stuff in WCW. So,
Right.
I mean, so here's my next question. Now, did the company come to you to join the NWO, or is that an idea that you had?
No, somebody ran it by me. I can't remember who it was. And I was like, sure. You know.
It was something new,
I
right?
can't remember who had ran it by me, and it was like, hey man, somebody had came up with it. Man, I can't even remember now. It's been,
Yeah.
but
Now,
somebody asked me, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. So that's pretty much how it went.
yeah. And also, I noticed that you were technically the first person to go by Kane before we got the Kane that we got in WWE. That I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't watch WCW in '93. I didn't start watching
I don't think
WCW till like,
I don't know if it was spelled the same though.
no, I don't think it was.
I don't remember. I think it was Kane with the K or C, whichever one. It was. I think it was different. I think the
Yeah.
spelling was different. If I'm not, I can't remember. We only did that for, oh man, right at a year. Right at a year.
And then
But we used to.
they repackaged you guys as Harlem Heat, or was you Harlem
No,
Heat?
we were Harlem Heat then,
Oh,
also. We were Harlem Heat also then, but they was using those names because of some logistics with Global back in Texas.
oh, okay. I again never knew. I never knew any
Yeah.
of this because I didn't start watching WCW until 95, 96.
Oh,
So
okay,
yeah,
okay, yeah. That's what happened with that, if I
yeah.
remember correctly.
So, what was your feeling when you first heard the concept of a Monday night program for WCW?
I'm sorry, bro. Um, I knew Vince then was already doing a Monday show,
Mm-hmm.
so when they said that we were going to be doing a Monday show, shit, I can't remember what. I mean, it was just like, okay, let's do the Monday show. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we did a lot of TV taping and stuff like that
Yeah.
back in those days. So doing the Monday show was going to be something, a live Monday show. It was pretty exciting.
I
Pretty
would
exciting
imagine.
because a lot of times we used to tape shows down in downtown Atlanta or either some of the surrounding towns around, that area. So, but doing a live show on a Monday, we thought it was going to be cool.
Yeah,
You know?
and I mean it was cool for and then to do it from the Mall of America was really different.
Yeah, that was the first one. that we did from the Mall of America. That was the first one.
I
But
actually
we,
just finished that one, like not that, like 5 minutes
yeah, but
ago.
we wasn't on that show.
No, you guys
We
came
wasn't on
in.
that. We came in the next week, I think.
Yeah, I think you guys were on the second Nitro.
Right, right. I remember being at the Mall of America, but I don't remember being at the show. 'Cause that was the first time I had ever been to that mall
Mm,
and seeing how big it was.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was a really cool visual of the camera coming down for that first Nitro and getting like the overview of everything. That was kind of cool.
yeah. I don't even remember it, but I remember. I remember the night. Like I said, I was in the back. I think I stayed in the back for about a minute, for a little bit, maybe 30, 40 minutes, and then I left and went to my hotel and I watched it on television.
Mm,
Once we found out that we wasn't on the show, it was a there was a lot of stuff going on that night. They really wasn't prepared. There's a lot of stuff wasn't in place. I
yeah,
remember I remember that behind the scenes, of course.
yeah.
But
Uh,
yeah.
now, uh, now you make a kind of a kind of a different move later on in your career and go into commentary. Was that
Hmm.
a Vince Russo idea or a year
Yeah,
or
actually Vince Russo.
it was a Vince Russo idea?
Yeah. Someone told him about it. I think it was Disco Inferno told him about it. Then he asked me that he had told me that they're going to be auditioning wrestlers for commentary, and they wanted me to come in for an audition. And I was like, I never forget. I was in Salt Lake City, Utah, when I got the call because I was getting ready to go home. I had been on the road for a week or so, and I was getting ready to go home for a couple of days because I wasn't on that one of the shows, and they said, "No, you got to come to Atlanta for an audition." I was like, and my buddies know we're getting ready to go home, so I had to fly back to Atlanta. Then I get my rental car and I go to the studio where we do the taping for the Saturday night shows and all that stuff because I knew where that was. And then I get there and someone tell me, "Oh, they're not doing it over here. They're doing it at the building." I think we was in Georgia Dome. And I'm like, oh man, now I got to drive all the way to the Georgia Dome, man. So I get in my car, I drive to the Georgia Dome, and it's a big building, that's a big stadium.
Yeah.
Walk to the back, and I got my nice clothes on and stuff because I'm ready for my audition.
Right.
Frankly, I really didn't want to do it. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I was going to go in and botch. You know, what I'm saying? I was I was gonna purposely go in and botch the audition.
Right.
Because I didn't want I didn't. I'm a wrestler, man. I'm like I'm not a commentary guy, but what the hell? So I'm looking around for where they set up stuff to do the auditions. I'm looking all over. I'm asking people this, that, and the other. Oh, I don't know. People, I don't know, man. Because people don't realize when we do these live shows, it's like 50,000 things going on behind the scenes that people don't see. You
Right.
just see when the show starts. You know what I'm saying? I had to be there like noon. Like noon.
Hmm.
I might have got there a little later because I had went to the other building. So it might have been around 1 o'clock, 1:30 or something like that. Because that's how early we got it. And the people that's working there setting up everything, they've been there all night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They've been there all night or the day before setting up everything. It's a lot of work. People just don't know that goes into these big live shows.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the back, I mean, it's just people everywhere, man. I ain't supposed to be on the show that night, so people probably looking at me like, "What the hell are you doing here?" So nobody could tell me anything. So finally, I seen Vince with 50,000 people around him. He got a script in his hand and he's walking and talking to different people. And finally, I say, "Vince, Vince, Vince," and he looked up, and said, "Hey, Stevie, what's up?" And I go, "Where are we going to be doing the auditions at?" And he said, "Well, there are no auditions. You start tonight." I'm like,
Wow.
"What?" Yeah. And it's like, you start to, and I'm like, I don't know nothing about. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know anything about what's going on the show, and
Right.
I'm on the show. Okay, I'm on the show, and I don't know what's going on the because I don't watch it like a fan. If you see what
Right.
I'm saying,
Right.
I'm on the show, so I'm concentrating on what I'm doing.
Right.
What happens before me, or what happens after. Like if you got a matchup, man, I don't know what you did. I know you had a match. I
Exactly.
don't know what your angle is with somebody. I don't know who and why you having a fight with him. With an angle. I don't know because I don't
Yeah.
watch it like that.
Because you have tunnel vision because you're a performer.
Right. So by the fact that I'm going out here tonight and starting, I'm like, oh man, you talking about somebody that's not prepared. I am totally unprepared. I don't know what's going on, and I'm too proud to tell somebody I don't know what's going on. I'm too proud to tell somebody. I don't want to look like a schnook, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had to wing it, and I had to get with Tony Schiavone, and I remember getting with Mike Tenay, and they helped me out. Then I got to go to the meetings and stuff like that, and all this stuff that I've never done before. Okay, I got pen and paper. And I don't even know what now. What am I writing? What notes am I listening for? I don't even know.
Right. Right.
You know, and so you do all of it. And so I still remember this first night, man. So I can't remember who wrestled that night or nothing like that. But I remember Ed Farrar, one of the writers, came in with Vince. He's in my ear. Sometimes you can't see the little headphones in your ear. Well, he's in my ear, and he's telling me this, that, and the other. And I'm listening to Tony Schiavone on this side of me. I'm listening to Mike Tenay. I might have been on the outside. I wasn't in the middle. I might have been. I'm listening to those two guys, and
Right.
I'm listening to Ed Farrar at the same time, and I'm looking at the match. Can anybody imagine how convoluted this is to me right now? And this is my first night out here. I'm listening to
Now,
three different guys.
now, did you was you on Thunder or Nitro primarily?
This was Thunder. This was Thunder, I think. This was the
Okay.
Thunder show
Okay.
because Mike didn't do the Nitro show.
Right.
Mike did. So that first night might have been a Nitro. I can't remember now, and they might have moved me to Thunder. I can't even remember that. It's been so long, man. I was in a blur. Like I said, I want to be going home for a few days because I've been on the road for a
Right.
week. You know, so
So they just kind of threw you into commentary and said,
yeah.
"Here, go."
No, I was told I was doing an audition, which
Wow.
I had already had the master plan for the audition.
Right.
The master plan is I'm blowing this sucker up, and they're gonna send me home.
Right. Exactly.
Get out of here. He's no good. Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I was like, wow. So that didn't work out. So anyway, we got through that first night, and the next week, okay, I came back and I started getting with guys in the dressing room
Right.
because they were bringing new guys in at that time also.
Yeah.
A lot of guys I didn't even know very well, even though I hadn't met them. I didn't know very well. Didn't know what they were. I didn't know what they were pushing them with. Some of them I did. Most of them I didn't though. So I had to go. Even guys that I talked to on a daily basis, man, I had to get with those guys and ask them, "Hey, man, what are they doing with you right now? Well, where are they going with you right now? Who you been working with, so on and so forth? Where you guys going? And give me a little background on where it's going, because I hadn't been paying attention. But I guess they figured I had, but I hadn't.
Right.
So once I got that down as to what was going on, then I could wing it. I get with Tony and Mike, and I let them kind of set it up for me. I would get with Mike, and Mike would kind of two guys in the ring. If they didn't have nothing going, then yeah, that was easy. But if they had something going, I would let Mike set it up for me. And Mike would go through his little diatribe of these two guys, blah, blah, blah. They met back at, Starcade, and this, that, and the other, and this happened, and that happened, and blah, blah, blah. You see what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
then I could pretty much ride off the little narrative Mike just set up, and
Hmm.
act like I was watching it, and act like I knew everything that happened. But I really didn't know. I was just kind of like coattailing off Mike, So he helped me with that for a few weeks until I got up to steam. But then the other thing was Ed Farrar in my ear, man.
Right.
Hey Stevie, say this. Hey Stevie, say this to me. And I'm like, I can't take this no more, man. I can't take it. So I had to go to Ed and say, look, Ed, you're gonna have to give me a break, man, because I can't keep up with you and keep up with them and then watch the match at the same time. It's like trying to watch TV at home and you got 8 kids tearing the
Yeah.
house up behind you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't ignore. You can't ignore it. You can only ignore it for so long.
Exactly.
So,
Like I was gonna
so I said,
ask you,
no,
what was
go
it
ahead.
like? What was it like to have Ed Ferrara in your ear and them talking about what was going on the show beside you? Like, how distracted was you?
It was, it was crazy, man. I had just to go to him and tell him, look, man, let me say what don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to get you out of my ear. I just had to go to him and ask him, man, this ain't working, bro. And I said, I can't be Stevie Ray out there, not the Stevie Ray that the fans know. I'm gonna have to be a little of him, but a lot of myself
Right.
if I'm going to do this the right way. Because people don't realize that's what I actually went to school for.
Hmm.
So I could remember a lot of it. I used to do. So anyway, as I start to know stuff more and know what words to, what context to put things in, so on and so forth, then boom, it took off and running, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Then I got a good rapport with Mike and Tony about different things, and we would do our meetings and stuff, and we would come up with different little things to do in our meetings. As some of the things I would come up with little things that I'm going to say, and make it seem like it's spontaneous, but it's actually we've written it and different little things like that. So then it started to work out.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
have some
then it
people
started to
in
work
the
out.
comments right now, so hold on one second. I didn't want to cut you off from the story. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We have Michael Schaus, who's a friend of the podcast, saying that Harlem Heat should have been in WWE. We kind of already talked
What was
about that.
that? Harlem
That
Heat
Harlem
should
Heat
have
should
been.
have been in WWE.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. We talked about that, didn't we? We talked
Yeah,
about
we
that
already
already.
talked about
Yeah.
that. That was the first thing we
Right.
talked about, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Daphne said hi, Stevie Ray,
Hello.
and then Daphne again said, "I like Harlem Heat, a great tag team."
I appreciate that.
Which I mean, you guys were a great tag team. I mean, in the '90s, you were the tag team.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We're very proud of that. Very proud of that.
I mean, was
Hmm.
it like 10-time WCW tag team champions?
Yes, yes, yes.
Um,
10 times.
so I want to ask you a question, and you don't have to answer it.
What's that?
Whose idea was it for Ahmed Johnson to come in?
Actually, it was my idea.
Oh, that was your idea. I
Yeah.
never knew that. I thought it was Vince Russo's idea.
Well, I went to Vince with the idea.
So
I
can you
went to
explain
Vince
how
with the
that came
idea,
about?
and I had pretty much wrote up a huh.
Can you explain how all that came about?
Yeah, I mean, he had been let go by WWE, and he was looking for somewhere to work. And me and my brother was doing an angle, and my brother was pretty much ascending as a singles wrestler, and I was actually trying to. I came up with the idea for that to help give him a push
Mm,
as a singles wrestler.
okay.
So, and I went to Vince with the idea and everything, and Vince liked the idea. So Vince went with it. And Vince was like, well, what is Ahmed doing? And I said, hey, man, he's just looking for somewhere to work. And, if you could help him out, he get his spirits back up or something, something of that nature. And he was like, yeah, man, that sounds like a pretty good angle. So that's where the whole Harlem Heat 2000 came from.
Yeah,
It was
I honestly,
actually just a way to uh, give my brother a push as a singles wrestler.
yeah, honestly, I thought it was legitimately a Vince Russo idea because the Ahmed Johnson we got in WCW was far and away different from the Ahmed Johnson we had in
Well,
WWE.
it was Vince's power
Yeah,
to get him in, but it wasn't Vince's idea to bring him in.
Yeah, yeah. Now,
Right. So
now I understand it. I didn't as a kid.
right.
Mind
So
you,
yeah, yeah, and
I'm
we
like 10
went
years
and
old
had a.
watching this.
And do you know Vince to this day don't even remember the meeting that we had? We
Wow.
did a show in the Astrodome, and Vince got in my car, and we went over to a restaurant, and we met with Ahmet
Mm,
after the show that we had just did at the Astrodome,
right.
and we all talked and went over, what I had proposed, and that's what happened.
I mean,
Then the
it was
next,
cool. As a kid watching it, I was kind of like,
right,
wait a minute, that's Ahmed Johnson.
right, right.
So let's talk about WCW in 2000 because everyone likes to talk about it.
Uh huh.
What was it like backstage, behind the scenes, with everything going on, all the changes that was happening?
At what period are you talking about?
Let's talk from the time Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff came in to whenever.
Oh, well, that's what I said earlier. It was a lot of different things going on because Vince then was trying to change pretty much the landscape of things, how things were being run, how, this, that, and the other, bringing in new talent. They were just trying to change the show all the way around from, I think we had gotten stagnated with some of the same stuff before that, because before that it was a bunch of the guys running their own angles, doing what they wanted to do.
Right.
And I think what Vince and Ed came in and tried to do was bring some stability. In my eyes,
Yeah.
they were trying to bring some stability. But I knew it was going to be an uphill battle because a lot of these guys are they're stuck in their ways, man.
Yeah.
They're stuck in their ways, and they wanna be the show. The show is about them.
Yeah.
So that's what Vince and Ed had to go through, man. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to implement something different. So I was just sitting back looking at it, you know what I'm saying? Because I knew exactly what was going to happen before it even happened. I could see the heads knocking together because these guys were the guys, in WCW. A lot of them, they just know wrestling.
Yeah.
They don't know the entertainment. It's not just it's about the show. I was looking at a movie the other night called Staying Alive with John Travolta.
Mm-hmm.
And John Travolta, this was the second movie by Tony Manero. And he became like a more modern dancer, not just a street dancer like he did in the first Saturday Night Live. He's a modern dancer now, so he's got to go audition for these plays, so on and so forth. But he still has that street mentality. He still has the street mentality that, I'm the man up in here,
Mm-hmm.
And in one portion of the movie, the guy that directing the play pulled him to the side and say, "It's not about you, Monero. It's the show."
Right.
And I think that's what Vince and Ed was going up against, if that makes sense.
Oh, it does.
They wasn't about, some guys wasn't about the show. They were about them. They were about, like Tony Manero, like he was in Saturday Night Fever,
Yeah.
not in Staying Alive.
Because
And it's a contrast.
Because me and my former podcast host, whenever this was two guys in a wrestling podcast, talked a lot about WCW's downfall in 2000. And,
Right.
A lot of it was because of creative control with a lot of people.
Well, yeah, a lot of that. But when you're going against the grain, man, you're never going to get, if everybody's not on the same team,
Yeah.
I mean, the game plan, we all got to be on the same game plan.
Exactly.
If we're not all on the same game plan, you know what I'm saying? You only get your best show when everybody's on point with what they got to do.
Yeah.
That's in anything.
Mm-hmm.
I came up playing organized sports and stuff like that, and they preach that. They preach it. Whether it's basketball, baseball, football, everybody got a job to do. You might be the top job. You might be the guy sweeping the floors, or picking up the t-shirts and the uniforms and stuff.
Right.
But you are a part of the team. And that's the way I looked at it, man. That's the way I looked at it. But a lot of people didn't. But because they're not from, that was when wrestling, professional wrestling was going through a transition. And the transition is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
It's what it's going to be.
Exactly.
And if you're not on board with that, then you're like a fish out of water. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, what is your thoughts on wrestling today? I mean, have you seen any of the new
Oh,
stuff?
yeah. I mean, wrestling is wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Everything evolves. Nothing stays the same. Everything evolves. Wrestling is no different than any other type of pop culture any kind of form of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
It changes as the mentality of the people changes.
Right.
I know a lot of people sit back and, like some friends of mine, they got a podcast and they come on my podcast sometime and they talk about wrestling. And the thing is, everybody's still looking for yesterday to become today. It's never going to happen. It's never going to happen in any form of entertainment.
No.
I don't care if it's singing, dancing, jumping off the roof, daredevils. I grew up with Evel Knievel.
Right.
He ain't never coming back. What guys do today now will make Evel Knievel look like a stepson.
Right.
You dig? And what you gonna say? Oh, I wish Evel Knievel would come back and try to jump the Snake River Canyon and the parachute comes out before he even gets off the ramp. Well, no, brother, that ain't gonna happen today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
it's like a lot of fans, whenever AEW started, was pining for a Monday Night War all over again.
Right.
And
it's over, bro.
And it's like, why? It happened, and we saw the end result. Do you really want to go through that again?
Well, but today's fans don't care about that. Only yesterday's fans care about that.
Yeah.
Today, what I'm saying is, it's like you hear people talking about professional sports, whether it be baseball, basketball, football. People look at the 80s and early 90s and go, oh, that was such a tough in basketball. Michael Jordan and those guys had to be so tough. Okay, because everybody fouled each other?
Yeah.
Or they could do hard fouls.
Right.
But that guy that was doing a hard foul back then weighed 210 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
That guy that's doing a hard foul today weighed 275.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What kind of little 210-pound man gonna hurt me?
Right.
But a 275-pound man? What if he could play like that? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't see the evolution of man, the evolution of athlete. They don't. If you look at women today in track and field, you go, man, look how chiseled they are. I'm talking about women.
Yeah.
Then you look at women from the 80s that were in track and field and go, look at them little gimli legs. You know? look at them little gimli legs, you know? What I'm saying, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But that is the evolution. Everybody, tell you, like back in my day, I'm 6'5", 280, 285. Back then. I'm a fish out of water now. Because everything is about this.
Yeah.
Move, 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 move. Daredevil, jumping off the building, jumping off the rafters, 20,000 high spots. You see what I'm saying? That is what people want today. That's what they want. Anybody ever heard the OJ song, Give the People What They Want?
Right.
Yeah. Anybody remember that song?
Right. I do.
You know, give the people what they want. And that's what the people want. Now, I ain't talking about the people from yesterday.
Yes.
Because, see, the people from yesterday are already gone. You're a casual fan anyway.
Right.
I got to promote this toward the people that's paying this crazy money today.
Exactly.
That's what I have to do. It ain't like the circus. Well, the circus can have the white tigers come around every blue moon for 20 years.
Yeah.
Or the white rhinoceros. Okay. But then people are like, okay, that's cool, but what else you gonna do? Okay, now we got to do more high flying stuff. You know, I got to do more crazy
Exactly.
stuff out there. Now we got to do more of this, more people getting hurt and this, that, and the other because everybody is like this now. It's like when I was a kid, we used to sit down as a family and eat.
Hmm.
The last time I ate with a family, it probably was somebody else's family. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't even remember doing. But that's what I'm saying. Everything is different today, and either you roll with it or it's going to roll over you. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So, aside from all that, what have you done since your wrestling career ended? Like, I know you were in the NASCAR for a little bit, is what I was
Well, no,
told.
when WCW ended, I went overseas. I was going back and forth overseas for years.
Mm.
And then, I had a couple of businesses and stuff that I really had to be more around to take care of and things of that nature. And yeah, I've just been doing everything. And I do a lot of stuff in my community to this day.
Hmm.
And that's what I was doing, promoting a few shows here and there. Me and my brother opened up a wrestling school. Just doing what I wanted to do. Because I was never a person that was, let me see how I put this. I was never a fanatic,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying, about professional wrestling.
Right.
Professional wrestling to me was something that I tried, became pretty good at it. But I'm one of those people that look at the future. I'm not one of those people that look at the past
Hmm.
and hoping the past come back and
Exactly.
things like that. Or out here doing chicken shit outlaw shows to make a dime and stuff like that, bro. You know the guys I'm talking about. I
Oh,
ain't really got
yeah.
to call no names and stuff like that. And I don't want to be out there, doing. I worked when I wanted to, if the money was right, or I
Hmm.
would go overseas when I wanted to, when the money was right, and stuff like that, and give me time to be at home to run my businesses. Plus, I had a daughter that was growing up at the time too, and I wanted to be around for
Yeah.
that. So that's what everything was just like a springboard to other things that I had dreams and aspirations about, and I'm kind of like one of those people that looks at life as chapters.
Hmm.
I never looked at professional wrestling like it was my life.
Yeah.
Because once something becomes your life, chances are you're not going to get out of it what you're expecting. I mean, I went to the pinnacle of the business, so I achieved everything I want to achieve.
Yeah. You
I
did.
achieved everything I want to achieve. I mean, I could have prolonged it, but I just didn't have the same. First of all, like I told my brother when you know, different talks about trying to get me to come to WWE, and I told him I don't want to be on the road 300 days a year anymore. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it mentally. Physically is one thing, mentally is another. And I just got to the point where you're running your own business. I got different people that hell now the business pays for them too, so I got to kind of look out for them. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So I got employees and stuff like that. So it's like I'd rather be at home doing this and going out on the road, going out, every now and then. I do a independent show every now and then, but basically, I would do stuff that wasn't too far, right here in Texas.
Yeah.
That I could drive to and give me and my daughter a chance to spend time together and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
and yeah, so everything to me just fell right into place, man. Everything to me fell right into place, and I'm still doing it to this day.
That's really cool, man. It really is. Because some people hold on to wrestling for their entire
Right,
life. I mean, I'm
right.
not going to talk ill of him,
No,
but
it's nothing wrong with that.
you know,
There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm like, I never wanted professional wrestling to become my life. How many times do we see people in the entertainment business? It's still the entertainment business.
exactly.
And the entertainment business can be very, very disappointing to you, especially when you made it to the pinnacle. Just like I said, when Vince took over and brought in WC, I mean, those guys were working for a fraction of what they had been working for.
Yeah.
Now, taking a pay cut is one thing, like going from, like a football player, going from $10 million to 6.5. Okay, okay, that's a big die. Well, going from $10 million to 1 million, I mean, wait a minute, brother. That's Palookaville. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? By the time I get through paying my house note, my car note, and taxes, I ain't got nothing left
Pretty
because
much.
you got a certain lifestyle, you know?
Yeah.
So that was that's one thing I didn't want to get involved in. I was always preparing to get out the business.
Mm.
I never prepared to stay in the business.
Mm.
You know. So
And that's a good way to be, honestly, because wrestling can only last so long.
exactly.
You can only take so many bumps before your bump goes.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, brother. And you don't want to be the guy in the room that shouldn't even be in the room no more. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? What are you
Like
doing here?
like
And you
I feel bad for Ric Flair. I really do. I wish he would stop because it hurts me to
he
watch.
has, hasn't he?
He's talking about coming back, from what I
Oh
heard on his
really?
podcast.
Oh wow. For
He's
what?
not.
Well,
He's coming back to do one last match because he feels like his last match wasn't what he wanted it to be.
well, hey man, I don't know anything about that. I mean, hey, God bless him, man. But hey, man, Rick is Rick, and Rick doesn't want anybody to feel sorry for him. That's his. That's it. That's him, bro.
Yeah,
That's him.
it
He
just
loves
hurts.
he loves this. And hey, man, if you can still do it, go out and do it.
Yeah, it just
That's
hurts.
the only thing I can say about it.
It just hurts me as a fan of his to see what I saw with his last match, and if he comes back, I'm afraid of what's going to happen.
Hey, like I always tell people, brother, if you're doing what you want to do and something happens, it happened doing something you love.
Exactly.
This guy loves what he does. A lot of people do. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
love it. I mean, they love it. I loved it at one time, but loved. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Loved. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? But, I still love watching professional wrestling when I get a chance. And like you was talking about AEW, I like AEW. I really do. I really do because it's such a contrast from WWE. That's
Does
one
he?
reason I like it. And a lot of people always compare. You Ford make cars the way they make them. Chevrolet makes cars the way they make them.
Right.
Toyota makes cars the way they make them. Long as one car is as good as the other, might not be as good in this, but it might be as good in this, and vice versa for the other car.
Exactly.
Well, these Fords ride smoother. Yeah, but these Chevrolets are a little bit more plush. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? You got to give to get in anything.
Right.
So it is what it is, and no two things should be the same as long as somebody enjoys them both. That's the bottom
Right.
line. Because the WWE fan is the WWE fan.
Hmm.
The AEW fan, totally different mindset as to what he wants to look at. I mean, they
Exactly.
both enjoy each other, but you know what I'm saying. The fan probably enjoys
Yeah.
both, but one he gets a little bit more kick out of, and
Yeah.
that's what makes everything so enjoyable. That they're contrast. It's
Mhm.
like you're talking about NASCAR, IndyCar, NHRA, all racing, all
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. They all have their fan
So
base.
why shouldn't professional wrestling be any different?
You got a point there.
What made ECW popular? Because it wasn't like WCW and it wasn't like WWE.
Sure. Now I
Now, if
have a
they
question.
had came out and did the same thing, then what?
It would have been just the same thing that we see on Monday night from WCW and
And
WWE.
how long you think you would have saw it?
Not long. I'll just stop
Exactly.
watching. I'll just stop watching after probably week one.
There you
Now
go.
I do have a question.
What's that?
Did you ever think about possibly going to ECW to do a run, or
No.
was that never an option for you?
No. ECW is pretty much done by the time I
No,
finished up.
I'm saying like whenever it was kind of like on its dying leg or whatever. Did you think about doing what Scott Hall did and go there to freshen up before trying to come back to WCW? If that was
No,
ever,
no. Like I said, that show was pretty much done.
yeah,
All their top guys had already came over to WCW.
sure. Yeah,
You know,
because you got Public Enemy, you got Sandman, all those, and
right?
Raven, all those guys come
Yeah,
over
all
from
the guys that pretty much came. This whole bunch of them had already came over to. So you already knew that was on the
Decline,
yes,
very much
big
so.
decline.
Um, so I
And if it
mean,
ain't no money, if it ain't no money down there, why do it?
yeah, you got a point there. Because a lot
Yeah.
of guys had checks bounce on them from stories I've heard.
Yes.
I don't know
Yeah.
how true that was. I just heard
Well,
stories.
no. Yeah. That wasn't exaggerated.
Oh, was
That
he?
wasn't No, that wasn't exaggerated.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like to put your life on the line like that, practically for nothing.
Hey, man, that's the business, bro. It ain't perfect.
No.
Yeah.
Uh, so so back to the AEW thing. Do you look at AEW when you get a chance to watch it as kind of like the successor to WCW, or is it different?
That's what I just got through talking about. I'm not one to compare stuff.
Mm. Okay.
That whole diatribe that I went through is what I was trying to explain.
Right.
I mean, when you look at professional wrestling, if you look at anything, a cop show. If you try to if you try to compare cop shows today to Miami Vice, you can't do it.
Yeah.
Now you're cheating yourself out of what's in front of you. Because once you start comparing things, you're looking for expectations that's really unfair.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Oh, definitely.
If that
Definitely.
makes sense. Because today's product is not like yesterday's product.
Yep.
It's not. And it never will be.
And it's never going to be exactly.
But
You can't
people,
go back.
right. And that's why I said people are always looking for yesterday to show up today. And if you go in with that mindset, then you just cheated yourself and you will never be satisfied with what they do. You know why? Because you compare. That's just like comparing a girlfriend, your last girlfriend, to your current girlfriend.
Right.
If you want to, if this girlfriend ain't like the last girlfriend, because you got to adapt to what the new girl does now. If you want her to be your old girlfriend, that's where you need to be.
Exactly.
Because she ain't going to never be good enough. Instead of just appreciating what she is good at or what she does bring to your life. Appreciate that. Because if your old girlfriend was that good, you still be with her. What about that?
There you go. Couldn't have said it better myself, honestly. That's a good
So,
way. So, to end this, do you have anything that you want to promote?
other than what you see behind me, which is my podcast, Straight Shooting with Stevie Ray, and that's pretty much all I promote right now. And you can people can go to I go live on Mondays and Tuesdays. Interviews on Wednesdays, depending on what guests I have. But sometimes it's live, sometimes it isn't. But live on Mondays and Tuesdays with Jimmy Tibbs, Sonny Ono on Tuesdays, and we just chop it up, man. We just chop it up about funny stuff, whether it pertains to professional wrestling, whether it pertains to sports, whether it pertains to movies, television shows, everything. We talk about any and everything because what people don't realize is pop culture is pop culture. And in some way, shape, or form, it's all related.
Mm-hmm.
It's all related. Even politics. I even point out things and try to point out things in politics, whereas politics is even stolen from professional wrestling. Everything in pop culture now has stolen from professional wrestling.
Yeah.
You want to be good at your job? You better sprinkle a little pro wrestling in on it.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm an avid comic book reader. I don't know if you are, but
Yeah.
and a lot of the storylines in comic books can be taken out of comic book context into professional wrestling. And
Exactly.
That's why I like comics so much.
Right. I mean, that's just the world we living in today.
Yeah.
You got people that in music. They got a Twitter beef.
Right.
A beef. Everybody got a beef. Right. Yeah, you got a beef because you know that draws attention.
Exactly.
Now, where that came from? Now, then tell me where that came from.
That came from
Huh?
professional wrestling.
Okay, somebody better listen to me. You know what I'm saying?
That came from professional wrestling. I mean,
You know, now,
whenever two guys was around, we were in like a beef with another podcast in
Right.
Lexington.
Okay,
And we got
see?
that from professional wrestling.
it is what it is. I've been telling people this for years. I say, you look at the sports debate shows on television in the morning. That's pro wrestling 101, bro.
Exactly.
That's pro wrestling 101.
Yeah.
I mean,
even with movies, it's pro wrestling. You
Right.
have the villain versus the good guy.
right.
You're always pulling for the good guy to get his, to get to that villain.
You look for the clickbait now. This football team, some safety, a linebacker said this about the other team. Oh, that's going to really get them ready this weekend because this last week so and so said, well, yeah, you know, and I'm like, I recognized this years ago. I'm like, okay, for years people used to come up and say to me, well, I don't watch pro wrestling. Okay, then what the fuck you talking to me for then? You know what I mean? I mean, get the fuck out of the way, man. I mean, the fuck you want me to tell you? You know, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. I mean, like I said, I take my job serious. So if you don't watch it, why are you telling me, first of all, why are you talking to me?
Exactly.
But be that as it may, I think a lot of people were saying that, but they didn't want to admit to it. You see what I'm saying? Because it made you feel like, oh, I'm kind of like an outsider if I watch professional wrestling and then I admit it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, a lot of people must have been watching. As we can see now, a lot of people must have been watching because
Oh, yeah.
a lot of people don't know this. I used to tell people this about Donald Trump. I said a lot of people don't know Donald Trump ran for president once before. A lot of people don't even remember that. They don't even remember it. It's like 2000.
Oh,
Okay?
it did?
See now? You don't even remember. Okay. Okay. But check this out. You know why nobody gave a damn about Donald Trump back then?
Why?
Because he hadn't turned into Ric Flair.
Oh, you know something? You got a point there. You got a point.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then he turned, what is that? 16 years later, he turns into the kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, jet plane riding son of a gun. Now everybody on the Trump train.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
You don't be presidential. He didn't be presidential. What he did when he got up there in front of that mic, he did a promo. That's what people react to. You know what I'm saying? Think about this, brother. Think about this.
Literally, I told my girlfriend, literally, whenever he was doing, speech or whatever, I'm like, he's cutting a promo.
That's exactly
He's
right.
cutting a promo.
Come on, man. Don't nobody want to listen to no damn speech.
Right.
You know, they're bad people. Who can get the job done?
Exactly.
You know, I can. You
Dude,
know,
he was the
I'm
big-
gonna do this. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. That's bravado.
He was the biggest heel of all time.
Now you see what I'm saying?
Exactly. And that's
So
what I
don't
was
give
telling
me-
people.
Don't give me this stuff about everything and everybody. If you want to be in pop culture and people talking about you, you better get some swag.
Yeah.
You dig?
Yeah.
You better get some swag
Exactly.
because the world now is just enthralled with that mentality. Swag. Hey, Donald, what about the girls at the pageant? Oh man, I grab them by the pussy, man. You know, hey.
Exactly.
You know, come on, bro. Come on.
Dude,
That's Ric Flair, bro.
that's Ric Flair. That's
That's
straight
Ric
up
Flair. Now check it out. Remember the plane ride from hell?
Oh, good God.
Who got in trouble? Who got in trouble? Who got in trouble?
Wasn't it Jim Ross?
No, it was Rick. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
That stuff went down years ago.
Yeah.
Then the waitress, the airline attendant comes out and said, he pulled his pants down in front of me. You remember that?
Did you watch that Dark Side of
You
the
damn right I watched it. You damn right.
Ring? Me and my friends would joke about that, and we would be like, every time we would say like bye to each other in a joking
Right.
way, we would just say helicopter dick and just walk away.
Now you see what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
If people just look at pop culture, just take a look.
Yeah.
Brother, if you ain't getting the headlines and the clickbait, you're going to get left behind, brother.
Exactly.
So a politician going up here talking about some real politics, he talking about these guys are political science majors. They're attorneys. They've already did public service and all this stuff. And they getting up there and they talking the real deal. Even though most of them lying, they make it sound very, very, political.
Exactly.
Donald Trump did this, and Donald Trump is lying, and he did this. But don't nobody care, brother. I can't wait till the next episode. Don't nobody care.
And
No, I'm serious. I'm just telling it like it is, bro. I'm just telling it like it is, bro.
exactly.
They can't wait to see the next episode. Hey, everybody! Hey, Big D is in the house. I'm surprised he didn't say something like that.
Given time, it was probably going to happen.
I ain't got nothing against. I'll be the first to tell people I disagree with everything Donald Trump stands for, but I understand why he's doing this because I'm from the entertainment business.
Yeah.
And he's being more honest and authentic than other politicians. If I'm a heel, I'm a heel.
Exactly.
If I'm a heel, I'm a heel. I'm just talking about from a political base. I'm just being honest. This is just one man's opinion. I really don't think people can come out the private sector and really understand all the different things that's attached to politics. I just think that's crazy. But at the end of the day, I'm just talking about why he got over with people so much.
Yeah. He knew how to make people hate him.
Yeah. Or love him.
Or love him. Either
Because
way
anything outside the norm, it's just like back in the ECW days and some of the crazy things that they were doing. And that is why I relate different sometimes with brilliance. Now, the traditional people from professional wrestling that I was working with or that was working with Vince, they look at ECW and go, those guys are crazy, man. That'll never get an audience. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know why they're saying that? Because they're from the traditional side
Exactly.
of professional wrestling, not wanting to relinquish the mindset that they have or have grown up with or being in the business with. This is totally inverted to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then once it started to gain traction, a lot of times fans don't know what they like until you present it to them.
Yeah.
You don't know if you like green ice cream until you eat it.
Exactly.
Now you look at green ice cream and go, I'm not touching that slime.
Mm-hmm.
It's not vanilla. It's not strawberry. It's not chocolate. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because your mind already has a defiance against it. Mm-hmm. Because it don't look like what you're used to.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go taste it and go, damn, man, this tastes pretty good.
Exactly.
So it's the same thing in pop culture. Mm-hmm. You never know what you like as a fan, whether it's music, television, movies, whatever. You don't know. Who thought reality shows would take over television? Who predicted that?
Nobody.
Who predicted that? Nobody. But now they run the world.
Mm-hmm. Now even WWE is trying to get into the reality field.
Exactly.
The reality TV field.
Yeah, exactly. What I'm saying is, back when MTV had that first reality show back in the early 90s. Okay. Nobody thought it would be on about every different kind of thing known to man.
Right.
You know, the pawn shop man, the fishing man, the cooking man, the Real Housewives, and
The
you know,
dating shows.
the dating shows. You know, the country boys getting the girls now. I mean, come on, brother, it's all over the place, and they make big money because people believe that shit. And where did that come from?
Professional wrestling.
Okay, that's
It
all I
all
got to say.
circles back to
That, you see what I'm
professional
saying?
wrestling.
You see what I'm saying? I
Exactly.
can't make it up.
No.
I just bring it up.
And I mean, even with MMA today, they're getting, especially Conor McGregor, getting the bravado he has, all came from professional wrestling.
All came from pro wrestling.
You know, even the weigh-ins, all
Right.
came from pro wrestling.
Hey, I'm just putting it out there for people to know, brother. Ain't none of this stuff no accident. And if people just look around, for all the people that was like, I don't watch wrestling because it's fake. Yeah. Now you getting so much fake stuff shoved up your head, you don't know what's what.
Exactly.
So stop biting off my stuff. Stop biting. Because if you stop biting, it'll go back to this lonely world that we live in. And guess what? Donald Trump would have never came president if he said, okay, I'm going to be like a politician and go out here and read off a teleprompter and shit like that. People would have said, man, go back to 2000 where you came from. That's what they would have said, bro.
Exactly.
It is
But
what it
he
is,
came
man.
out there and he talked like, you know, an old
Yeah.
freaking.
It was funny as hell to me. Now, to me, somebody from the business, I knew what I was looking at.
Yeah.
I used to tell people this. I said, this is Ric Flair, bro.
Yeah. That's Ric Flair from like the 80s.
Yeah, this is Ric Flair.
Yeah. Or
You know,
the 90s,
but
or
nobody believed me.
2000s.
Nobody believed me. I was like, okay, it is what it is.
Well,
You know, but at the end, it is.
It's because they didn't want to ingrain it and understand where it came from.
Well, a lot of people don't. Going back to what you said, a lot of people don't even see what we're talking about. How we are relating pop culture to professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Because when people watching politicians, the last thing they think about is pro wrestling.
Exactly.
A lot of people don't see the correlation of what I'm talking about either. But I know who does. Everything that's got something to do with pop culture, everything that's got something to do with entertainment. Like I say, from sports talk shows, whether it be radio, whether it be Skip and Shannon, whether it be Stephen A. and his group of bandits, you know, and everything else. Everybody got an opinion about somebody. Somebody got a counter opinion. And where did that come from? Pro wrestling.
And honestly, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say what happened on January 6th was a good thing because it wasn't. But if you look at January 6th and you look at the rise of the NWO, especially in WCW,
You know something? I never thought about that. Yeah, I think you on to something, man. I never thought about that.
think about it. The rise of the NWO
Oh, man.
and them trying to take over WCW in the beginning. What did we see on January 6th?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I hadn't put that one together, man. I swear to God.
They pulled that
But you
right out.
are
They pulled that right out
Yeah!
of the wrestling handbook.
The hostile takeover.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, man. Golly. I never thought about that one, brother. You got me on that one. Golly. You are so right.
Yeah.
You are so right.
When the NWO came in, they ran a roughshod over everyone in WCW. You know?
Right. Yeah.
And,
I hadn't thought about that, man.
and
Oh,
look
my
at
God.
And look at what the Insurgents
You know what?
did on January 6th.
There you go. Bah, down. You know what, bro? I think I need to get with somebody and write a book. And you know what that book is going to be called?
What?
How professional wrestling changed the world.
Do it. I would read it.
That'll be the name. That would be the name of that book. And I will illustrate in that book how things used to be. And then we will go full circle to how things have become.
I would
And
read
we
that
will
book.
correlate wrestling with every single facet of pop culture, even in modern day politics,
Exactly.
modern day media,
Yeah.
modern day everything. Oh
Yeah.
my God, bro, dog. I
You
mean,
never thought about
I'm
that?
serious,
You never
huh?
thought about that? The
No,
insurgent of
no, I'm just
January
thinking
6th
about it right now.
compared
I'm
to
just
the
thinking about it right
NWO?
now. I never thought about it like that, dog. I didn't.
Because when I heard about it, I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then I cut it on and I saw it and I'm like, wait a minute, this reminds me of something.
Right. Yeah, you know what? I never put that two and two together. Oh my goodness.
And
Oh my goodness.
that, I mean,
Somebody, whoever put that whole thing together, because this is what from watching it January the 6th. From watching it, I was sitting back watching. Matter of fact, I was going round and round with one of my friends on Facebook about some stuff. And I hadn't looked at any television that day. Hadn't looked at any television. And I can't remember if I was in my bedroom or in my dungeon where I am right now. And we're going round and round about different stuff. And he was like, Stevie Ray, we're just friendly conversation. We always have friendly conversation with people about politics. Usually friendly, sometimes not so friendly because sometimes these people are such fucking dick sucking zealots. I don't even want to have shit to do with them. But anyway, he was like, Stevie Ray, I'm a conservative, but I don't believe in that stuff that's going on right now. I didn't even know what he was talking about.
right.
I mean, this was going on, but I ain't watching television. I haven't
Exactly.
watched any television that day. And I'm like, what is he talking about, you know? And then we kind of like entered the conversation. So I came downstairs and I cut the television on. And the shit is on every station. And I'm like, what? That's what he told. So I guess this had been going on for a minute, you know what I'm saying, before I even cut my television on. And I was like, wow. And I'm trying to understand it. And more it went on, and after the aftermath and this, that, and the other. This was my belief. We're getting off script here for a second, but as far as pro wrestling goes. But this was my belief. I don't know how true it is. I believe, especially after what we're talking about tonight, that was a big setup. It was a big bait. I'm gonna bait you in, and then I'm gonna flip the script on you.
Yep.
And I think whoever put it together is just like you said. Reading, I'm thinking about it right now. It's like whoever those people are, I don't know who. Watch the NWO.
They had to.
So I know how we can get them. Well, how are we gonna get them? What we'll do is set a trap for them. You know what I'm saying? We know this is gonna go on at this date. We know these things are gonna be said. Do not have anything to go against them. You know what I'm saying? Now you can't tell me it shouldn't have been more police officers there. And if it wasn't more police officers, they wasn't allowed to use deadly force. It's no way you can attack a Capitol building and not use deadly force. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not talking. These are politicians in here. This is the government. You protect them with your life.
Right.
That's what you signed up for.
Mm-hmm.
So by the mere fact that they didn't, and then it took forever for the resource, the backup resources to get there, I'm like, oh man, they took it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
It was, you know what I'm saying, the old, like you said, the old hostile takeover.
Yeah.
But we're gonna use it in another way.
Exactly.
Oh my God. The old bait. It was the old bait car. Remember the bait car?
Cause like, yeah.
They had a car sitting out there, then you get in and try to crank it up.
Yeah. And honestly, I didn't really correlate that until after January 6th.
Right.
And then I watched the hostile takeover
Right.
at WCW Bash at the Beach.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then I correlated together, and I'm like, hold up.
Oh my goodness, man. That's too much of a similarity, bro. That's too much of a similarity.
It really
I'm
is.
sorry.
If you look at the rise of the NWO,
Yeah.
and the insurgence of what happened January 6th, it's literally the same.
Right. Man. Yeah. So chalk up another one for pro wrestling.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that one we don't want to own, but I think we gotta own it.
Yeah, kind of have to.
I mean, if somebody could, oh man, I would love to see somebody do a video, somebody that knows how to edit and put all that stuff, and then play the NWO music in the background.
Don't don't tempt me. I know someone that can do that.
Oh man, and then you had the one guy from the Proud Boys. And then you
Yeah.
had the other guy from what's it, QAnon? No, not QAnon. I forgot the guy. The guy that had the patch on his face.
Oh
On his
yeah.
okay, you know what I'm saying? Them the Hogans. Them you know what I'm saying? That, you know,
Okay, if they're the Hogans, then,
them the Hogans.
okay, if they're the Hogans, we need the Hall and the Nash. I mean,
Yeah. We can find them. Yeah, we just got to research it a little bit, man. You know what I'm saying?
and then
We'll
we gotta
find them.
out,
Oh
you
my
know,
goodness.
and then we gotta find the Eric Bischoff.
Yeah. They got to be there. We just have to get research the whole thing and get some names involved. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, bro.
Because the only difference between the NWO Rise and the Insurgents was we didn't get a reveal as to who was behind it.
Now you ain't gonna get that.
No, that's gonna be a long-winded
No,
story.
that I don't think we're gonna get that one, bro. I don't think we're gonna get that one. Whoever put that together, those are geniuses, brother, and they've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
A long time, brother. Whoever they may be.
And
Whoever they may be, I wish I could meet you and give you a fist bump, man, because hey, brother, you did some stealing.
And honestly, you can look at any kind of quote heel faction in wrestling and correlate it to the Insurgents from January 6th.
That's true.
They're in the invasion angle in 2001 with WCW and ECW invading the WWE.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's true. But like I said, it goes hand in hand with what we've been talking about tonight. And that's,
Exactly.
I believe that 100% that pop culture has been, just riveted with pro wrestling angles that they'll never admit to. But if anybody got common sense and just look at it for what when you see people on a reality show, like the Vanderpoofs or whatever, these people living in these $1 million mansions and stuff like that, and they're at each other's throat. I mean,
Exactly.
come on, bro. Come on. Get your hands out there. You did this. You did that. Oh, here it come.
The only thing that's missing in the reality shows like that is put a wrestling ring in the living room and let them go.
And these people getting paid big money. They getting paid big money for this stuff now. Remember back in the day you did a reality show, it didn't, you got to pay little money. These shows today, they're mainstream.
Yeah.
Anything mainstream is big money.
Yeah. Without a doubt. So,
but it is.
Going off of that, I do have one question, and I've always asked wrestlers this. What was your worst payday?
$5.
What?
$5.
Can you divulge?
And happy happy to have it.
Can you divulge what company it was?
Oh, this was years ago. This is back when I first got into business.
Wow,
$5.
$5.
But I didn't wrestle for money back then. I wrestled just to wrestle. I just want to wrestle anywhere. $5, $10, $15. Just happy to have it. Just happy to be. I would pay you to get in the ring back in those days. I would pay you.
That's
how much I loved it.
That's really cool, man. But anyway, I want to thank you for being on, and you have a standing invitation anytime you want to come on here again. We can shoot the shit.
No problem.
And if you write that book, let me know.
That's a book that's got to be written, man. I got some people listening to me right now on I don't know if I'm on Instagram or Facebook right now. I'm on one of them. And they might take it and do it themselves. But I think I got a little bit more insight.
Yeah.
Because I've correlated this to so many different things that I've talked with friends. And I'm talking about for years. This just ain't something I just came up with.
Right.
I've been talking about this for years. I mean years. I'm talking about at least 20 years. At least 20 years.
If you want to, me and you could write it. Screw it.
Hey, I think it's a book that I think it's a book that should be written because I don't think a lot of people see what we see,
No, they don't.
and they'll never admit to how professional wrestling has integrated itself in every form of pop culture.
every form, every single form of it. I mean, even with concerts. If you look at concerts, the long entrance way, them in the hallway coming to the stage.
Right.
That's pro wrestling, dude.
That's pro wrestling.
Professional wrestling. Look
And
at
now you tell me basketball, baseball, football, all of them done stole from that. You know what I'm saying? The big entrances type stuff. Okay, I came up, I can remember Terry Bradshaw.
right.
They was in the Super Bowl 4 times. Terry Bradshaw, Franco Harris, Rocky Blyer. Ladies and gentlemen, the starting offense for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right.
They run out there with the helmets off. From Notre Dame, Rocky Blyer. From Penn State, Franco Harris. From Louisiana Tech, Terry Bradshaw. And then they run off, and here come the offensive linemen from so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And from here come the receivers. Lynn Swan, John Stallworth, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't no glamour to none of that, bro.
No.
None of it. You was like, y'all could have left that. Y'all could have did that, like, you know, with the little still photos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because it was like atrocious as opposed to what you see now.
Yeah.
With all the fucking hoopla and all the cannons going off and all of this and 50,000 people on the field and these guys run out and the people go crazy. And that's all pro wrestling, bro.
Oh yeah.
That's all WrestleMania.
That's WrestleMania.
WrestleMania started that.
Yep. Because I mean, think about it. WrestleMania 1, the long entrance for Hulk Hogan. We saw him in the hallway. We saw him walk to Gorilla.
Right.
We get that same stuff at
Right.
WrestleMania every year.
Right. You ever heard anybody have music coming to do any other sport other than pro wrestling?
Yeah.
Now. Back in those days, no.
Not back then, no. Not back then,
No.
no.
You know what I'm saying? Unless it was some marching band they got in the audience, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Right.
You know, like the college team. You know what I'm saying? You didn't hear no boom, boom, boom. Another one bites the dust. You know, it wasn't none of that, bro.
No, it wasn't.
You know?
We got
I am a real American, you know, and all this bullshit.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
We got all that from professional wrestling.
All of it
Honestly,
came from professional wrestling.
Honestly, if you want to do this book, we
Okay.
can do this book, bro. Because I think honestly, I think the world needs to know. I really do.
I think you're right. I mean, I don't know what that's the name I came up with, but
I like it.
especially if it's a book about professional wrestling, we have to do a lot of research. But I think it's a book worth doing because I think it's a book outside of every other professional wrestling book.
Yeah, without a doubt.
How professional wrestling changed the world.
Yeah, and honestly, I love doing research. So let's do this.
I hear you, bro. I hear you, man. I think the book can be written, and I think we can promote the shit out of it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm serious. You know, because I think wrestling is a cross between, oh my God, so many different promoters from so many different genres of pop culture.
Yeah.
Because you can take so many different people that promoted music, or like the Colonel that promoted Elvis Presley, okay? Or like Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey, you know what I'm saying? The Circus. Mm-hmm. Or like the France family that did NASCAR.
Right.
Everything has this one people that was behind them going to that next level.
Exactly.
But they all had a little something in the later stages, in the later pop culture days. They all had a little something from pro wrestling.
Yeah.
You know,
and look at Muhammad Ali's promos he used to do.
pro wrestling.
Pro wrestling.
He the only one that admitted though.
because he didn't care.
No. Gorgeous George told him to do it. He was a big fan of Gorgeous George back in the 50s. And Gorgeous George is the one that told him, being a bad guy, Gorgeous George was making $150,000 a year back in the 50s.
What?
Yes. As a professional, Gorgeous George was the highest paid wrestler in the 50s.
That's amazing.
You know why?
Why?
He was the guy that came up with the idea of making people hate you.
Yeah.
So Muhammad Ali, when he was a kid, was a big fan of Gorgeous George. So when he got a chance to meet Gorgeous George told him, talk the way he does about his opponent, this, that, and the other, because Ali was one of those people that's very good with words. Matter of fact, probably the best ever with words. Well, Ali was a big wrestling fan also. And Gorgeous George also told him, always wear white, because you're going to make people hate you.
Yeah.
And then do all your talking and stuff. So he took the Gorgeous George. Gorgeous George is always talking about how pretty he is.
Yeah.
So that's why Muhammad Ali would come out and say, I'm pretty. I'm pretty as a girl.
Yeah.
So his whole thing came from pro wrestling. Nobody knew it.
No.
So there is the first big, that's the first big one right there.
Yeah.
That this man took his whole gimmick from pro wrestling.
Yeah, he was, in essence, he was the Nature Boy before Ric Flair became the Nature Boy.
Right. So I'm like you said, Muhammad Ali. Yeah, God rest his soul, man. I got a chance. I mean, Muhammad Ali was a big fan of me and my brothers. We didn't know that, bro. And yeah, huge fan. Invited us to his hotel room, and oh, great! I'll never forget that, bro. So
I went to his museum for a middle school field trip in Louisville. That's pretty cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They had a video screen that was kind of up in the ceiling, but it showed down on the ring itself, which was really cool.
Right. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, man. But yeah, man, I think we might have hit on I think we might have hit on to something tonight, man. I think we might have hit on to something. Different people. They'll never admit it.
Nope, they'll never ever admit it.
They'll never admit it. You're freezing. Can you hear me?
But thank you for being on.
Okay, bro.
And you have open invitation to come on anytime you want. We can shoot some more.
Okay, bro.
Start working on that book.
You too, brother.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Appreciate it.